Our guest today is Jim Parkman. This was a huge case. I mean, this was the fourth largest accounting fraud in the history of the United States.
The CEO of HealthSouth, the Fortune 500 healthcare company.
Ferrari Enzo was nearly obliterated in the high-speed crash along the PCH.
Zenvo, ST1, 50S.
He went from being on the Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Only made 3 for the United States.
I'm Bobby Khan, former exotic car dealer turned #1 FBI's most wanted fugitive.
Generally, when you look at the law, 90% of the time it's against you.
The FBI put a $20,000 reward for information into his arrest.
Bobby Khan scammed super rich customers at a New Jersey car dealership.
Join myself and James Parkman, my attorney and best friend, as we have cars, courts, and conversations.
Welcome back to another episode of Parkman Khan. That's Jim Parkman. I'm Bobby Khan. And today is a good day. The election is finally over. There's no more political ads for the last 24 hours. And we finally actually got our results in the same night.
Wait a minute. I got to say this before we start. You ready?
Yep.
America, most of you political pundits were wrong.
Absolutely
But
they were.
Bobby Khan was right. Bobby you said weeks ago, you said, Jim, what I think is there are a lot of people out there who do not go flashing around that I'm a Trump supporter, or I put stuff in my yard, or I answer all the questions from surveys and this type of thing. And you said those people are
coming out in full force.
You're going to come out. And they're going to come out, and they're going to come out in force, and they're going to vote.
Yep.
Well, guess what, America? Bobby Khan was right. And
I'll take my vote. There you go.
You should, because you were the only one leading up to the election. You said it a week before the election, as a matter of fact. They're going to come out.
It is.
You made the statement.
Yep.
You're right. And listen, you're right up there with Sean Hannity. And here's why: because Sean on the Fox, he was on Fox News early in the evening.
Yep. Okay,
and he said on there very clearly, I guarantee you that Georgia and North Carolina are going to vote for Trump. And at that point, the percentage points were way apart.
Yeah.
And by golly, he was right. Now, he only said that about North Carolina. You said that about the whole United States.
I did. And you know why?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, okay? Polls are, I think, obsolete. I think they should just do away with polls because polls were wrong in 2016. Polls were wrong in 2018, 2020. They're never right because the problem is nobody answers any polls. If you called me as a pollster, I'm going to either hang up on you or I'm going to feed you a bunch of BS because I'm like, you know what? These people are getting paid $1 million to do this stupid poll. And then they're going to go to the media and talk about, oh, well, we did a poll. And you know what? They're not in touch with reality. They're not on the ground. They call like 100 people and they figure that those 100 people speak for the rest of them. Yeah. Most people don't want to sit there and put out their laundry. They don't want to tell people who they're voting for because it's for them. It's all a private thing because they don't want to be either, put in a corner because, okay, they're going to lose a business contract. They may not get a job. They may not get invited to a certain event because, hey, that's a Trump supporter or that's a Harris supporter. Well, so people keep it secretive. And
add one thing to it. I got a couple of those things in, on text messages. Vote, please help us with this poll. I don't have the time to fool with those people. And it doesn't matter what I say on a poll. It only matters what happens on Tuesday. That's it.
Exactly. And then the polls are not accurate. So I told you, I had the opportunity to meet Bobby Kennedy a couple months ago. I think about a month and a half ago. Bobby Kennedy's in Vegas, and he was here with Tulsi Gabbard. And we got the opportunity to go in his dressing room and talk to him. And he's talking. He goes, "So what do you guys see on the ground here?" He goes, because he was telling us what he sees as he's traveling all over the country. So one of the guys that was with us, he said to Bobby, he goes, "Well, I got 2 phone calls, and I think I'd mentioned this to you." He goes, "I got 2 phone calls for polling companies, and they asked, who are you going to vote for?" And this time, at that point, Bobby Kennedy hadn't dropped off, right? So he's like, Bobby Kennedy, and they said, "Well, no, Bobby Kennedy's not a choice. It's either Kamala or Trump." And he's like, "But Bobby Kennedy is still in the race." He said, "Well, we'll just put you down for Kamala." He goes, and then 2 weeks later, he got another phone call like it, and he said the same thing, and they put him down for Kamala. So that poll goes out there and says, this many people are going to vote for Kamala. It's not true.
Yeah.
You're actually putting...
Well, speaking of Bobby Kennedy, don't know him, would love to.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Oh, I'm sure he is. Listen, his family history, but here's what somebody said to me the other day after the election. They said, Jim, if the Democrats had come to Bobby Kennedy and said, we want you to pick it up and run,
he would have won. Absolutely would have.
I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly the theory that I had.
I'll tell you what.
He could have raised more money in a short amount of time.
And you know why? Do you know why?
Well, his name, for one thing.
Because he would have picked up the far left, and then he would have picked up the old school Democrats, the Democrats of the Kennedy era, the Democrats that aren't so far left but still aren't Republican. He would have picked those people up, right? And he would have picked up a bunch of Republicans too, who would have went for him because of his name, and also Bobby Kennedy is a very smart man.
Oh yeah,
and he is so knowledgeable on so many things. He's well versed. He's well spoken, and his entire life has been dedicated to public service.
Yeah,
he knows the ins and outs. Like when we sat there and we listened to him speak, right? I mean, everything from. I mean, he knows everything about geopolitics, right? Politicians in third world countries. He knows about natural resources. He knows about healthcare. He knows about this and that. And I'm like, this man literally. If they didn't give him the ticket, that was the dumbest thing they should. They should have went to Biden and said, Biden, you don't have it in you. We're going to give it to Bobby Kennedy. I think my wife would have voted for Bobby Kennedy tomorrow.
Well, I think a lot of people would, and you know what? His heritage.
Absolutely.
Is well known in the United States and his family.
The head of the GOP goes up and gives a speech when we were there, and he says, growing up, he's an Irish guy, right? He goes, growing up as an Irish Catholic in America, he goes, my mother had two pictures on in the living room TV, the Pope and John F. Kennedy, right? And then RFK. Sorry, three pictures. And he goes, that's how I grew up. So Kennedy's got a name. It carries a lot of weight.
A lot of weight.
And Democrats, I think, screwed up. They should have given it to him. And the other thing I also thought when the Democrats didn't give him the ticket, my opinion was this. Trump should have added Bobby Kennedy to the ticket. I think that was a unique ticket.
Yeah, well, let me say this too. Well, I think in some respects, Trump did.
Yeah, he did. In a way. Yeah.
In some respects, indirectly, he did. Now,
exactly.
Now, the vice president that he picked, I've heard him speak.
He's a very smart.
Listen, that guy's a smart guy.
Smart.
And very good speaker.
Yep. Very
good. But I'm just saying that my opinion, which when I was talking to this friend after the election, and he said, if they'd have just put Bobby Kennedy in there and let him run with it, he had so many contacts and so much political power,
Great president, I believe.
Yes.
They cheated him out of it.
And I don't know if they can make amends with him. I don't know if they can even do it for the next time.
Well, because at this point, if he's going to go into the Trump administration and he actually goes in and does what he says he wants to do, I think the Democrats won't want him unless they give him a sweetheart deal. But I think he might just stick to the Republicans unless he really wants to be president and switches parties.
Well, he may.
Yeah,
and
you never know.
But I will say this. He certainly is someone to look forward to in the future.
Oh,
regardless of the party. You see?
Yeah.
Regardless of the party.
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
I think he's going to be a force at some point.
He's definitely a force. And you know what? The guy, if you don't know him, you got to get to know him. The man knows what he's talking about. He's a very smart person. And, in J.D. Vance's thing, I'm not a fan of the Clintons, but one thing Bill Clinton always had, and I used to always say, he's a very eloquent speaker. When Bill Clinton speaks, he's just a great speaker.
He is.
J.D. Vance is like that.
He is. Vance is very smart, and He's very eloquent. I heard him in the debate. I heard him give speeches. I was very impressed, not because he's running with Trump. I was impressed because of how he conducted himself.
Well, I hope he actually becomes an active vice president and actually does something instead of just being a lame duck. You know,
I don't think he's going to be a lame duck. I really don't. I think he's going to do and be out there. I think the party wants him out there.
Yeah, of course, because you know what? They need a future because Trump can't run again. So they need somebody. Yeah, so they got to find a successor. And who's the successor going to be? Is it going to be J.D. Vance? Is it going to be Marco Rubio? Or is it going to be DeSantis? Or Bobby Kennedy?
It will be, for example, let's say if Trump does what he says he's going to do, okay, and the economy goes back to normal and the flood in of immigrants coming in, and I won't talk about that in a minute, but if that happens and we get world peace and stuff like that, then who's next in line, okay, will be in a great position.
All they got to do is just take it and run with it.
That's exactly right.
And I can tell you, I know a lot of people all over the world, as you know. I lived in the Middle East for a while. I did business in the Middle East. I did business in Asia. And, I've been speaking to a lot of people all over the world for the last 2 days. And let me tell you something. These people are elated. For the Middle East, people I've spoken to, they can't be happier that Donald Trump, because when Trump was in office, that was the first time they actually had peace. There was no new wars in the Middle East. They don't want the bullshit. They want Israel and Palestine to finally figure out a way. They don't want drama in the UAE or Saudi Arabia. That's done. No. Asia is going to play ball. I mean, I think it's just so much. Listen, car manufacturers, my industry, right, that I've loved. And they probably are elated that now Trump's going to come into office and get rid of these mandates for EVs. They're spending billions of dollars of building these electric cars that nobody wants. So, Trump's going to be like, listen, you don't have to build electric cars. Just make them fuel efficient. That's it. And and you can do it. There's so many ways. Between synthetic fuels, between all the other things that they could do, you could get good gas mileage.
Sure. Well, I think that's a truism. And second of all is, EVs are not producing what mileage. They're not producing the
but there's so much
distance. They're not producing the need. Of American people.
Quick thought about EVs, okay? I mean, my problem with EVs is, listen, where do you get batteries? Lithium, right? Where are you getting the lithium? You're digging these huge craters in the earth. And then, you're destroying, you're going to go into Africa, you're going to go into certain countries and get this and leave, craters in the wall. Oil, you just keep drilling and just more oil keeps coming out. There's so much of it. We have an abundance of it. We can reduce the cost. Porsche just recently did a test where they did synthetic fuel. And they put it on a Porsche 911. They didn't have to alter the engine. It's the same engine that they had. And they put synthetic fuel in it. The car got 75 miles to the gallon. Okay, you put 10 gallons of that in the car, and you can go 750 miles. But in an electric car, you're going to go 250. And
whoa. I had a friend that bought an electric. I don't know if it was I'm not going to say. It was maybe a Ford, maybe a Chevy. Maybe a Ram. I don't remember. Bought an electric truck. So he has this boat, this big fishing boat, okay? So he hooked it up, was going to take it down to the Gulf, right? He got 56 miles and the thing quit. Ran out of battery.
And now you got to charge it for 8 hours.
Yeah, but he only made 56 miles on it.
Absolutely.
And it's like, oh my gosh, I've got to stop 4 times.
We're not Europe, okay? Americans drive, we have big roads, we drive distances, we pull our trailers, we pull boats, we pull RVs. We can't go electric, okay? Because if you got a boat, you pull it in the back of your Chevy Silverado or your Ford F-250, you put gas in the thing, you fill up your tank in 5 minutes, and now you got 400 miles till empty. And then you pull into a gas station and refill, and you're back on the road in 5 minutes. Nobody has the patience to go from New York City to Miami and stop for 5 hours at a time to charge. Come on. I just want to keep going. What happens when the battery dies? How do you recycle it? They just take up space. It's worse for the environment. And then the battery dies, and it's $27,000 to replace it. Well, the guy that bought a $15,000 car at $200 a month or $300 a month, he can't write a check for $27,000 and buy a new battery.
So now it becomes a lawn ornament.
Exactly, that's what it is. I mean, so long term, and then the fires. A car catches on fire, a normal car with a combustion engine. You put it out, it's done. An electric car goes up in flames. You keep trying to put it out. It'll keep reigniting over and over again for maybe up to a week. I don't want that thing sitting in my house.
No.
So yeah.
So anyway, we got off a little bit.
We got off a little bit, but that goes back to Trump. At least he'll get rid of that mandate.
I hope so. And let's get back and like Porsche, if they have developed, then other car companies can develop the same thing, get the same mileage.
Yep.
And there are other ways to look at this other than electric. Okay, there are other ways to do it, and that's what I think that would be something I think great for the car companies to do, and I think Porsche is right on track. I think Porsche figured it out.
And think about it, Porsche is it's owned by Volkswagen, which is one of the largest car manufacturers in the world. Yep. So I think if Trump brings in a good team with that, that people that he puts in charge of the automotive sector, in this sector, and that sector, I think he is on track to becoming one of the best presidents and having one of the best presidencies in ages.
And that's what all of America right now is hoping.
Yeah, and that helps everybody.
And look, that's what America says.
Yep.
That's what we hope. It's not just a few states. It's most of the states.
Listen, if the country's prospering, everybody's going to prosper. From California to New York, everybody in between will benefit with lower prices, with healthy economies, with better infrastructure, better health care. I mean, look at Bobby Kennedy. If he goes in and does exactly what he said he's going to do, it makes us a healthier nation. It
does.
Yeah. Our kids makes them healthier. Our kids' health has declined over the last 50 years.
Well, Trump said in his statement the other night, he said, I told Bobby,
do what you want.
Do what you want. Just stay away from
oil.
Just stay away from that and have at it. Whatever you want to do, go knock it out.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think Mr. Kennedy will do that. I think he's a kind of guy that is not going to just sit back and go. I think he's going to move forward. I think he's going to do some things.
I think, Jimmy, it's come to a point where we got to lead away from the whole bureaucratic nonsense that we've been raised to see. Bureaucracy slows down change. It slows down movement. I mean, I always say, look at Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk being part of Trump's team is the best thing ever. I mean, you've had NASA around since the 60s, right? And NASA still has not managed to get a rocket that goes up and comes right back down again. And they have gotten trillions of dollars from 1960 till today. Elon Musk self-funded a company. The rocket's going up and down on its own. He's doing multiple flights, and he's actually flying stuff for NASA because NASA themselves doesn't have the rockets right now. Because government officials give these huge contracts to their buddies and stuff, and then companies like Boeing are charging them 7,000% more than what it would cost. And Elon Musk says, I could do it for this. And I think Trump has the good idea of letting him come in and say, cut the fat.
Sure.
It's too much.
And he's doing it. But I think any time, if I was a president of the United States, I would want people around me, not just in the political world, but in the business world that have done something, that are brilliant.
Yep.
Now, that they may even be adversaries, but I would call them and say, look, I want your input.
Yep.
Because you got to this point,
exactly.
Nike and Apple and whatever.
The post office is another issue, right? Trump should bring somebody in from FedEx and say, how do I clean up this disaster?
How do I fix this? And make it reasonable. We can't be charging $2 for a stamp. Come on.
Yeah. There's a joke I always tell my wife. I'm like, the Pony Express got a letter to you in 5 days on horseback. Today we got planes and everything, and you can't get a package across the country in less than 7 days. How is that possible?
I don't know. That's but these things have to be looked into, and
everything,
and I hope, and I'll do this too. I will say this. My hope would be, as far as like medical insurance goes,
yes,
that he does what's needed, and that is stop this border protection for insurance companies like Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
Open
it up and let Hawaii Blue Cross and Blue Shield sell you a policy.
In New Jersey.
Once you start doing that, then you're going to see the rates drop.
Yeah, competition reduces prices.
Competition, absolutely.
Yep.
But having it where you can't buy a policy in Georgia, we can't, or Florida, or Michigan, or New York, or whatever. Look, drop it. Let everybody have a say-so as to what their prices are going to be.
Yeah.
And let one state come out and go, you know what? Let's pick up a ton of business at a lower price, and we're still making more money than we made with the limited.
I think Trump has an opportunity right now to do it right, and I hope he does it right. I do
too.
I hope he doesn't waste his opportunity, because he's got the House, he's got Senate, and he's got the White House. He literally can sit there from day one, put his agenda out there. This is what I need to do. Let's get it accomplished.
Let's get it done.
Get it done in the first 2 years, because if the midterms come and they they take control of the House or Senate again, at least you got everything done. And then you post for the next 2 years. But you got to work hard for the next 2 years to get everything done on your plate.
And one thing that I think, too, is I want to see coming up, I'm going to change gears a minute, is national media.
Yes.
We have gotten into a situation now in this country to where different news channels have different politicians. Yeah. So now you're not really getting the real news. You're getting the news they want you to have.
You're getting their opinions.
And that's dangerous.
It is. If you have a national license, like ABC, NBC, CBS, and
Fox, any of them.
You have a license, right? That's given to you by the FCC.
Yeah.
You should put just the news. You don't put your opinions into it. That's it. Take your opinions out of it. Take your agendas out of it. Today, President Biden said this. Not, well, I think that Biden was thinking this. No, you don't think, okay? You're just telling me Biden said this. Today, this happened in D.C. Today, that happened. Portray the news. That's it.
But we don't do that.
If you want your opinions, that can go on cable. Take it, move it on to your cable channel, and that's where you put the news on there. And whatever you want to say, you can do it there. That's what that's for.
I love this. I've always said this lately, of course, with national news. They come on with the host, and he starts with this. Good evening, America. Hope you're having a great day, and then goes in to tell you why you shouldn't.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, that's it. Think about it.
Always doom and gloom.
Yeah. Good evening, America.
Yep,
Hope everything's going great. Now, let me tell you all the bad things that are going on in the world, and how divisive we are, and how this is this and that, and how we hate each other, and how we're going to do this, and how the world's coming to an end, and yada, yada.
It's
amazing.
Look at the viewership on some of these channels now. It keeps going down further and further. People are not getting their news from news because it's not news anymore. People are like, hold on, I'll just do my own research. I'll figure this out myself. Because there's enough people out there with a camera. So, for example, Biden gives a speech. People are like, should I watch it on NBC News? Or I could just go online and see it on, somebody posted it on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's it,
Yeah. And I think, and they don't ask, and listen, this goes for both candidates. Now, I'm not picking on the Democrats.
Oh,
no. I think they need, when you do a forum and you do this and other, ask the tough questions.
Yep. They're afraid
Don't ask the questions that you can just make generic comments about. Ask the tough questions, both sides. Both sides.
They want the seat at the table. They don't want to be kicked out of the press pool. They don't want to be able to. They want to be able to ride on Air Force One, so they don't ask the hard questions.
Yeah. Look what happened to the Washington Post.
Oh yeah.
The editor says I'm not picking anybody. Which,
absolutely.
Hey, great. That's your opinion. You're the editor.
I don't care.
And then everybody,
newspaper picks.
bunch of them leave going, I can't believe this is happening.
They lost 200,000 subscribers.
Yeah. But people were leaving. They were going, I can't believe that they're not picking. Well, I know what they're saying.
But let me ask you a question, Jimmy.
All right.
Would you vote for a candidate based off of what the newspapers picked? Why? Why should I care about what the newspaper picked? Why do I?
know. I'm picking a candidate that I think is, I hate to say this, is going to help two groups of people. One is my family.
Yep.
Okay. And the other is my friends.
Yep.
Now, I don't have any billionaire friends. And look, if you got a billionaire, they ain't worried about paying taxes.
No.
They've already got their $1 billion.
Yeah, they
don't pay taxes on what they got in the bank. It's over. They've already earned their $1 billion. They've already earned their $1 trillion. Now, I don't care about them. I care about the people that I have to see, and I go to the grocery store, and I come out of the grocery store, and my groceries are in my two hands, and it's $250.
Yeah, exactly.
All I can buy is what I'm holding in my two, not bags.
Yep.
Not bags.
I know.
What I'm holding in my two hands is $250.
Yep. Well,
that bothers me, and that bothers me not for just me and my family, but others, friends and family. And
we could talk about all this stuff. We got a lot. I know you got a phone call. You got a call.
I don't care. I don't care about that. I care about this. This is.
Right. Okay.
This is, these things are, you're right, Bob.
They matter. They really do matter.
They matter, and they matter. And listen, what matters to me is all of these polls and all that. Listen, folks, if you want to know who's going to win, call Bobby Khan.
I got my
Bobby will be glad
on the pulse.
Huh?
Let me just beat my chest a little bit, okay? So you met my friend Mike, right? Remember Mike?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So Mike always calls me up and he goes, "How do you know all this stuff?" I said, "Listen, my whole life I'm a sponge. I absorb everything and I read everything and I look into everything. So I've never been one to if you told me one thing, I'm never going to just take your word for it, right? I'm going to go do my own homework. And then for example, when I had my case, my criminal case, when the lawyer would come to me and he would tell me one thing, I'd say, okay, I'll get back to you. And he'd be like, what do you mean get back to me? I'm like, hold on. I would actually call 3 other people, get their opinions. Then I would do my own homework. And then I'd go back to them and say, you know what? I don't think I agree with this motion. I think this is what we need to do, right? And how many calls did you and I have? You and I spoke. And that's what it is. And so same thing when it comes to politics. It's all right, that's what they said. That's what they said. What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? And that's how I formulate my opinions.
Yeah. Well, and that's how, I think America ought to formulate their opinion.
Yep.
Is look and see what's going on and who is going to be the one that can help America people out, the middle class. I don't care about a billionaire.
I don't care about who listen.
I don't care about a billionaire. Yeah, I could care less. Because they've got their money in the bank. They're not worried about $10 for a jar of mayonnaise. They don't care. I mean, that's nothing. I'll buy it all. I'm worried about the people that really want to buy, young people that want to buy homes and start a family and they can't do it because of the situation in the economy.
A country with no middle class or a shrinking middle class is not a country that's evolving. It's a country that's coming to an end. Okay? When in the 50s this country blew up during Eisenhower's time, it was the middle class. When the families moved to the suburbs and started buying homes, when families went from 1 car to 2 cars, that's when the country prospered. But when now people can't afford a tank of gas, let alone a second car, that's an issue.
And you're right. And not only that, it's not just buying the car, it's keeping the car up.
Yep.
And gas and insurance and all of that.
Car insurance is on through the roof.
Yeah. And companies, I mentioned this earlier, health insurance companies are just making a killing. And,
all insurance companies, they need to open it up where basically make it a very competitive field and let them go out there and let people get the best rates. Because, for example, car insurance today, is equal to some of these car payments. You know, some people are paying $500 a month for a car payment and $500 a month for car insurance.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, you know, and some of it, like with health insurance, I had an issue several years ago where a virus hit my left nerve in my ear.
Okay.
And so, you know, it hurt and all that. And I bought some drops over the counter and put in it, thinking it was nothing. It was just an earache. A week or 10 days later, I go to the doctor, and, you know, the doctor goes, Jim, you know, half of your hearing is gone because of the virus. We have saved half of it. If you'd let it go, you'd have been deaf.
Yeah.
Now, so Jimmy, you know, my job is listening.
Yep.
Okay.
You need to hear.
I got to listen. I got to have my ear.
Yep. You need
so
to hear.
I go to the hearing aid place, and I go, look, I've got this insurance. And they go, no, it won't cover it. And I go, what do you mean? It was a virus. It's not like it's old age and it just worked into it. A virus caused it. Yep. And they go, no, the insurance company looks at it as cosmetic.
So hearing is cosmetic. It's not
hearing. What worse than that? You can't see the hearing aid.
Yeah.
They've got them now to where they, hide it behind the ear and you can't. Yeah. So now, what's cosmetic about that?
Exactly.
Tell me what's cosmetic.
Yeah. How is that cosmetic? It's a necessity. You need.
It's a necessity for me.
It's like
my job.
So what?
It's my job.
What happens if you lose your eyesight tomorrow? They'll be like, well, it's cosmetic. You don't need.
It's cosmetic if we have to do something else. Right? Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, enough's enough. Okay.
Listen, I think I need a job in the Trump presidency, his cabinet. I need to go out there and I need to clean up. You know what? I need Trump to put me in charge of the Justice Department. Let me go in there and clean up the DOJ, okay? The first convicted felon running the DOJ.
Hey, Bobby, that would be funny.
It would be. Listen, hold on, stop. We have a convicted felon as a president. Anything is possible, right? At this point, you know what they need to do? They need to remove that box when you apply for something. Are you a convicted felon? Because if you can become president of the United States, you should be able to become a real estate agent or this or that.
Or that, or whatever. Yeah.
I have a whole series I want to discuss, and I hope President Trump somehow gets these videos and what we need to do.
We'll get into that. I would like to get into that next.
Oh my God! I have. Listen, hold on.
You're right.
I put together a whole plan. If tomorrow the president of the United States called me up and said, "So how do I clean up this justice system?" Right? Great. Here I go. I have it all typed up, ready to go. I'll just one email. This is what we need to do.
Well, I want to say this, and I want you to understand this. Okay.
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of people watching this would be like, why is this lawyer friends with a convicted felon?
Yes, exactly.
And it's really a very simple answer, okay? It's because I've been friends and knowing him for years. And I know the kind of person that Bobby Khan is. And he's been a friend of mine. And if you're a friend, you don't abandon the foxhole when something bad happens.
But a lot of people
do because they don't get it. They don't get that, and second of all, they don't look at their own lives and go, oh, well, yeah, I have done this and I have done that, but,
Yep.
It's about, it's about realizing that, I can pick my friends, okay?
Yep.
And I pick friends that I know are good people. And you and I have been friends a long time. Your family, I know your family. I know you. And look, whatever happened shouldn't have ever happened, okay? Well, I know that.
Yep.
I'm not stupid. I'm a very, they can say, well, he's from Alabama. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, I know what I'm talking about.
You're a very smart man.
I know what I'm talking about. And listen, I'd rather have you as a friend than a lot of other people.
I appreciate that. It means a lot.
Well, I mean, it's the truth. And I think America needs to, like they're saying, how could we put a convicted felon in presidency? Because he was the best man for the job and America said so.
Absolutely. Yep, exactly.
That's it in a nutshell. Quit worrying about what somebody and putting a tag on somebody and start worrying about what can we do for this country.
Listen, everybody's got skeletons in their closet. Some people
Sure they do.
Open. Some people, it never comes out. And some people like to throw stones at other people because they hope that by pointing the finger at somebody else, nobody will look at them.
That's right. And you know, if I sat here today and you know, had to bring out all the things that I feel like I've done wrong in my life and mistakes I've made and this, other, you'd have to get a whole box of Snickers bar, okay? Because you're going to be here for a long time.
Yeah. And it goes for everybody.
It does. But you know, I don't care, you know, what somebody has done. It's what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Nope.
That's it in a nutshell. That solves everything as far as I'm concerned.
And as I told multiple politicians and you, I said, look, after going through all this, I want to make a change in other people's lives. And I have some ideas that I'd like to share. And I hope that I get to Washington, D.C. soon and I can talk to both parties. It's not a Democrat-Republican issue. It's
it's about America. And
I mean, you're a lawyer in courtrooms every day and you see it. So
yeah, I do see it. And I see devastation.
Yep.
That people don't realize, and with families.
Yep.
Okay, that's the devastation. It's not just about one person. If they've got a family, it's mama, daddy, uncle, grandmama, wife, children. It's devastation for them.
Listen, I mean, there's time and place, and I totally believe in if you broke the law, you should, you know, do the time and whatever. Not
Sure.
It's supposed to be, there's, you know, and this is a whole nother episode we'll go into.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and unless you've gone through the system, you don't realize how punitive it really is, and it's excessive. Your punishment doesn't end when your punishment's over. No, it's a lifetime punishment.
Yeah, because of the brand.
Yep.
Yeah, and the brand is ridiculous.
Exactly.
You know, if people would take the time to get to learn to know you,
yep,
they would say the same thing I'm saying.
Yep. All right,
this guy's an exceptional guy, and quit with the branding.
Absolutely.
You branded you. They branded the president. They branded other great people, and you know it's time to end that. Okay.
Well, absolutely, and I agree with you.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about this more later.
We will.
So thank you, Jimmy, for today. Okay.
Oh yeah, Bobby, and good to see you. Tell the family I said hello. And,
okay. I'll talk to you. And hopefully tomorrow we can hop on something if you have time.
Let's do that. I'd love to, Bobby.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Good discussion. Thank you, buddy.
Take care,
have
guys.
a good one.
Be good.
Bye, buddy. Bye-bye.